Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got
New 52 book.
it! Somebody clip this for the love.
Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
Hello there, sir.
And today we are talking about why... and my camera is once again blurry. Screw it. So we are going to discuss once again why Jim Lee is like one of the... Well, let me put it this way. Okay, there you go. I would say if there's a Mount Rushmore of comic book artists, he's on it.
Yeah, for sure. And just a quick aside, who else would you put on that Mount Rushmore?
Well, Todd, Jack Kirby, Detko. Okay, so that's
John Romita.
John Romita. Senior or junior?
Senior. Though junior's really good in his own right. Romita is okay, sorry, I could talk about John Romita, but this is not a John Romita stream.
Okay, then Dan Moore. All right, so it was. Oh, Randy says Ethan Van Sciver. Yep. As a Green Lantern fan, I can tell you that very much. I loved his stuff. So that's just me.
I'm not saying he's a bad artist, but like Mount Rushmore worthy, not in a million years.
Okay. So we decided to talk about, but of the artists that I have seen work of, Jim Lee is my favorite artist. He draws all the best stuff. So let's discuss the man, the myth, the legend. So it's kind of interesting about Jim Lee is that, you know why his figures always look so good? Because before he became a comic book artist, he was in med school to be, I think it was like a surgeon or something like that. So
I mean, the other thing that Jim Lee is known for is like super clean lines. Like, dear God, razor clean lines. Like they are just beautiful, immaculate. And
the thing about him, because he studied anatomy so closely, he 100% got like the anatomy of superheroes. Because in order to draw in the anatomy of the superhero, it's pretty much like a regular dude, but like emphasized a little bit. Hey, what's up, Taladia Plays?
What's funny though is even though his anatomy is good, his characters are still quite exaggerated. But I think that's where the anatomy thing comes in. Is even though they're heavily exaggerated, they still have that. He still has the anatomical base to draw from. It makes him look really good.
So let's talk about the DC book that put his name on the map, because yes, he did X-Men #1 with Chris Claremont. That still stands as like the highest selling comic book of all time. And so he came to DC and they were like, okay, so what book are we going to put him on? So Jeff Loeb took him on and they did Batman Hush, which
as much as I love Hush, you're skipping over 10 years of this man's backstory. Like you said, he made the most, like, I think his Marvel stuff deserves a little more. Because you literally said he made the highest selling comic of all time.
Yeah, I know.
Marvel is what made him. Then he did Wildstorm. Then he came to DC. You're missing like 2 or 3 steps of his life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So then let me pull up X-Men #1 then. Okay, so this is part of the reason why X-Men #1 sold so well, part of the reason why, beyond the fact that it was just gorgeous, is that this was during another variant cover craze. Now, the thing about this one is that when you got all 4 covers, they came together in a poster, and here's the poster.
Yeah, they specifically gave him the X-Men comic because of his art.
Yeah, because he had done like Punisher versus Wolverine at this point, which I have, and it looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And they put him on X-Men, and all of a sudden people were... This was the start of when at Marvel... well, it wasn't the start, but it was around the time that like the superstar artists started to show up at Marvel, where like people were buying like Spider-Man because Todd was drawing it, or X-Men because Jim Lee was drawing it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something really important to realize about Jim Lee's career is he came onto the scene at exactly the right time. Like even like 2 or 3, if he had even like broke 2 or 3 years earlier, you know, he might not have had as big of an impact. But because he broke, because like there are other artists like Art Adams who could draw kind of similar levels of stuff, but like Jim Lee came along during the age of the rock star artist, and he kind of rode that wave. Even to this day, I think he's still kind of riding that rock star artist wave, and he definitely backs it up. But one thing I wanted to point out is that Jared, we're looking at these covers, and it's a very exaggerated proportions, but they look atomically correct.
Yes, and this is what comes from having an intimate knowledge of anatomy, because you're able to like, yeah, you can stretch it a little bit. Because obviously no human is going to be as jacked as Cyclops is, but you can kind of play with it so it looks quote unquote normal, if you will. It's within the realm of possibility, in other words.
Yeah, or at least plausible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Taladia. He was that was like the first big. This was the book that made his career, that put the name Jim Lee in people's like mouths, if you will. So after that, this was around the time that Image was starting up, because what happened was, so these creators, and that was like Silvestri, Todd, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, they were selling the books on their name alone, and Marvel didn't like that. And Marvel was not exactly giving them like royalties for like every time they reprinted an image of theirs for a t-shirt. In other words, they weren't treating their creatives right. So Todd decided, okay, I'm going to leave Marvel and we're going to do this ourselves. Now here's where Jim Lee comes into this. So Jim Lee was very much a company man, and he was happy with Marvel. In fact, I think he was on the road to eventually be the EOC of Marvel. So what happened was Todd runs into him at a hotel like bar or something like that, and then he gives them the pitch to Image, and then Jim Lee just says, "Okay, let's do it." So they leave.
Oh wow! Todd rolled a nat 20 on his persuasion check.
Now so there's another story here. There's another part of the story that is like my favorite. So they go to DC. Nick knows what I'm about to say. This is if ever there was a story that encompasses who Todd McFarlane is in one story, it's this. He shows up, and DC originally thought they hit the mother lode, like, oh my gosh, Jim Lee is here, we're gonna get Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane, this is so great. And then Todd literally goes, oh no, I was just coming here to tell you I wouldn't come to work for you.
Okay, if they ever do like a Todd McFarlane biopic, that scene needs to be...
Please, you need that in there. That encompasses him to a T.
What I would do is I would put like a subtitle under the whole entire scene that says, "This actually happened."
Yes, exactly. So then, so they form Image, and the way Image is structured is that each of the founders has their own like publishing houses, but they're all under Image. So Jim Lee had Wildstorm, and Wildstorm did some really great stuff. They did the Gears of War comics for a while. They did Warcraft. They did a lot of really cool tie-in stuff. Now, the book that was Jim Lee's flagship book was Wildcats. Now, here's the funny thing about that. So many of these, like, the Image creators, their, like, books were stuff that, like, they came up with when they were kids, and were kind of... the problem with Wildcats is that people saw it as a rip-off of the X-Men.
Yeah, the thing is, Image had a couple different X-Men rip-off teams, because he had, like, Youngbloods as well.
Well, because, again, you had a lot of... because look at the creators you had on there, like Rob Liefeld, guys known for X-Men.
Yeah, but I think the Wildcats actually got a decent marketing push. Like, I think they got a cartoon at one point.
They got an animated show, which is actually pretty fun. I watched a couple of episodes. See, here are the Wildcats. And this is very much Jim Lee. And so at that point, so at some point in Image, Jim Lee received an offer to be for Wildstorm to be bought by DC Comics, and this is where you get like Grifter in the DC universe eventually when you get to Flashpoint. So he took it because what Jim Lee wanted to do is work in like the higher up portion of a comic book company. That's why he stayed at Marvel for so long. But I get the feeling that like he saw the ability to like advance at DC. So he went to DC. They didn't know what book to put him on because he's Jim Lee. What are they going to do? So they were like, let's give him Batman, literally our top book. And then we get what is quite possibly one of the most iconically looking Batman books of all time, Batman Hush.
Yeah. And I think when talking about Jim Lee, it's also equally important to give praise to his inker.
Yeah.
Like the inker
Scott
Williams, who is used like forever.
And also same colorist Alex Sinclair.
Yeah, so Jim Lee has a team he's been working with forever. And, like, yes, Jim Lee is a great artist. But, like, the inker knows how to really bring out Jim Lee's art.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you've worked with someone as for long as Jim Lee has worked with his team, what that leads to is they know your stuff. And they'll go, okay, I know how to make Jim look good here. I know what to use here. It's like fun fact. So do you know how they did the backgrounds for Hush? So Alex went to go see Lilo and Stitch, and he saw the watercolor background. So he goes, I'm going to paint all these with watercolors. So that was eventually what they did there. And yeah, so he did Hush. He was even on a book called, I'm going to pull up the image that when I think of Hush, this is the image I think of. This is one right here. There you go. The image of Batman kissing Catwoman. You got Gotham City. You got the ginormous moon in the background. I get what they're trying to do here. It's still that is, and I was so happy when they did the Hush movie. They recreated that, and I really hope in the DCU or something or whatever the hell happens in the next Batman movie, when Batman and Catwoman kiss, they have to recreate this panel.
So imagine a few years from now, we get the Batfleck movie, and he kisses Carla, and we get this image.
Yep, that's all I need. That's all.
You know, Zach would do it. You know, Zach would.
Oh, Zach so totally would do it. Either Zach or someone else would say, or Ben, because Ben Affleck's a huge Batman fan. It comes across. He goes, "Hey, let's do this panel," and then he would go, "Yes, let's do that." So that's
certainly one of the most iconic panels in comics.
Oh yeah. And then the other thing that I'm gonna pull up real quick that is a book drawn by him. It's not exactly a very well-regarded story. That's the thing about Jim Lee. Sometimes he draws books that are not remembered for the writing.
Are we doing it that way? Are we doing it?
No, not that yet. So he did a Superman book with Brian Azzarello called Superman for Tomorrow. And there you go. I'm trying to find his image. Yeah, right there. Look at that image of Superman.
Was that in like the late 2000s?
Yes.
Yeah, because
go ahead.
Because I remember a friend of mine was reading that book, and he's like, just because Jim Lee's famous now, he doesn't have to try so hard or whatever.
To me, it doesn't really look like... It's not a trying too hard thing. I think it's more like he's good. That's what it is. He's good.
I mean, yeah, that panel itself is very well done from an artistic and compositional standpoint. So now here's the thing. Now we're gonna do it. So his favorite comic book. So what DC was trying to do. This was actually the first time DC tried an alternate continuity, because the All-Star line
if it was allowed to go on, was going to be like an entirely different continuity. The problem is, and this is, so they did All-Star Superman first with Grant. That was great. Then we get All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder, where Batman keeps his mask on. It's better that way. Yeah, now, to be clear,
the art's amazing.
Jim Lee destroys this book in a good way with his art. Utterly destroys. The writing is hit or miss, but the art is solid.
Yeah,
solid.
Like we reviewed it on Comics Watch, and we were gushing over the art.
Yeah, it is ridiculously good, and this is the best example of an art of the art being so good that it practically saves the book. Because here's the thing, yeah, this book is known for being crappily written, but extremely well drawn.
Her mouth tastes like ash. She's a smoker.
Oh God, that's that thing. Hey, what's up? What's up, Kirby? And yes, the Superman cover is iconic.
See, from a writing standpoint, All-Star Batman and Robin is the room of comics. It's so bad it loops right around it back to being good. It's definitely a so bad it's good comic, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So then DC decides, let's reboot the continuity of Flashpoint. Now, the idea was with Justice League is that they were going to put their best writer and best artist together and kind of use Justice League as an example for the other creatives at DC at the time. To like say, here's the model. Here's what you're going to do. So the very first book for the New 52 was Justice League, drawn by Jim Lee. He drew the first 2 volumes.
Look at that cover.
Yes, I know. This is the other cover that when they do a Justice League movie, I want them to recreate this with the lineup that they go with.
So speaking of covers you want them to recreate, isn't there another cover from the New 52?
Later. I'm not up to there yet.
Okay.
So, and the first thing I know is that, look at this. It's like Batman being chased by GCPD helicopters. Now, here's the thing. What I love about Jim Lee's art is that it actually looks like it's glowing, particularly when he draws Green Lantern.
Yeah, I think that's more of a colorist thing than
True.
Jim Lee.
But yeah,
it looks really good. Like we saw this in All-Star as well.
Now, here's a cool thing here. I actually have a better book that I can pull up on DC Universe. So what DC did is they released these unwrapped books, which is basically, here's the cool part. It's the first 2 volumes of Justice League, but the art is just the Jim Lee pencils.
Ooh.
So I'm pulling that up real quick because that is like that is a sight to behold. Oh, okay. So here's another really iconic Jim Lee image I might as well pull up since we're here.
Oh.
Original Jim Lee pencils. And then we get to, I'm going to go to the actual cover that Nick was referencing that I do have.
I know that if you ever get a chance to commission Jim Lee, you would have him do a Super Wonder picture.
Yeah. If I could afford his thing, because it's like a lot. But he has here's the thing. I know people were like complaining about how expensive Jim Lee commissions were, but he's Jim Lee.
Yeah, that's like complaining that Picasso cost too much.
Yeah. So by the way, so here is the cover. I'm gonna unshare my screen so it can be larger. So I have Justice League 12. My plan is to get him to sign this, and then hopefully Jeff Johns as well, and then I'll have this one graded as well.
And I think with your comic, eventually you're gonna redoing that image in your comic.
Yeah, see. Oh, yeah. I actually have it written, and I have. So what I did for Athena in the script is I included pictures of like the general vibe I'm going for, so my artist knew for the most part what I'm basing this off of. I use that image.
And on that panel, it's just do this. Literally, just do this.
Yeah, exactly. So now then Justice League was like the last time for a while Jim Lee was on the interior art of a regular book, because he did covers. But up until recently, when we get the announcement that he and Jeff Loeb are reuniting for Batman Hush 2.
Oh, before we do that, can we show off some of his Godzilla versus Justice League?
Oh, yes!
Please.
So here's a little bit of Comics League lore for you. So when this was announced, Nick and I were looking at the like covers and the art and stuff, and one cover like stood out to us because it's literally it's literally an image of Batman in a Jaeger punching Godzilla in the face.
A Bat Jaeger.
I didn't know.
Going to cancel the apocalypse.
Hey, Jim Lee, I want this. So, yeah. So then we get that, and I'm sorry. That sold the story. And you know what's kind of funny? You know what's the sad part about this book? That's on cover of issue 1, right? It doesn't show up until the final issue.
Oh.
I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, where's the Jaeger? Oh, now it shows up. But it's glorious.
That is a tease.
Yeah, it's being driven by Batman, Flash, and Cyborg.
Oh.
And it is so freaking good. So then we get the announcement of Batman Hush 2, and I gotta be honest, this is like one of those things where thank you, DC, for doing this, because this is actually really cool. And so there's a little bit of a rumor mill with this one. So we have here, because the current Batman run by Chip Zdarsky will be ending soon. And the rumor is that they're going to relaunch Batman at #1 as soon as the Hush 2 ends. Because Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are not like the ongoing creative team. They're doing an arc. And in other words, probably so they can figure out who to put on Batman next.
As a wipe the board clean kind of thing.
Yeah, which I gotta be honest, the rumor is also that they're going to do that with Superman, and if they do that, and they also do that with Wonder Woman, we can get Tom King off the book.
Monkey Paw. They get Tom King, but they hire Dan Jurgens.
Dan Jurgens already works for DC.
Okay, fine. They get rid of Tom King, but they bring in John Byrne.
No one's going to bring in John Byrne. The fan base really hates him. Rightly so. But so let me ask you this, Nick, and in the chat. What's your favorite Jim Lee comic book?
I mean, Hush. I think it's a comic that, like, if there ever is a onboarding book for Batman, it is Hush, because it talks about Batman, his world, his people, his relationship to them. It is like the perfect first Batman run.
Yeah, and it's in a small little. By the way, so look at this sexy image.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. There's a lot of cape, but oh my god, that looks good.
Jim is channeling his inner Todd McFarlane.
And the cool part is that he shows you a first-person perspective of what Batman sees, and he puts like little readouts, so like Batman knows like where to punch and stuff. We also have this dope cover with Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Batman. I'm trying to find okay, there you go. Him punching Superman.
Yeah, like that whole storyline of Poison Ivy controlling Superman. Like, I'm surprised they never did something like that again. And then also one of my favorite lines is, ultimately, Clark is a good person. Ultimately, I am not.
Yeah, I love that. That was so good. Yeah, and there's that line right down there. And then my favorite is when they snap Superman out by throwing Lois Lane off a building. So there was that. But my favorite image is like Catwoman just punches Poison Ivy in the face. Superman says, "Was that really necessary?" And Batman and Catwoman both go, "Yes."
Also, can we just acknowledge they made Crypto work?
Yes. And can I say, they made Poison Ivy sexy.
I mean, that's not that hard to do, but this is definitely one of the best versions of her.
Ooh-wee. Exactly. Now we also have. I'm gonna bring up For Tomorrow again because we got a dope image. Because in that book, our favorite Amazon shows up to fight Superman. Yes, Wonder Woman fights Superman. You could say it's a real dawn of justice.
Well, speaking of books where Superman and Wonder Woman kiss, drawn by Jim Lee.
I already brought up the cover. Oh yeah.
How does it feel that one of the most prominent Super Wonder books is All-Star Batman and Robin?
Well, it's actually the entire Frank Miller universe because he had them in the relationship the entire time.
But how does it feel that is like one of the Super Wonder moments?
Yep, I'm fine. Every bad book has one good part.
Every bad book has one good part.
Yes, it does. Jim Lee's art and Superman making out with Wonder Woman. That's great.
I also love how in that one, Wonder Woman was the one to initiate the kiss.
Actually, we don't know who initiated the kiss with that. It may not have been Wonder Woman because remember, she's walking up to like where the League is meeting, and the student makes a salacious remark about her, and she goes, "Out of my way, sperm bank."
Yeah, that Wonder Woman was always really weird because I don't really like man-hating Wonder Woman. I really don't.
See, Britt kind of explained it that you can like really explain it as that's the way that Batman sees the Justice League.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Here's an image of Diana for you. Here is an image of Diana. Get a load of this. Hello, honey.
Hello, nurse.
Yeah, like I love the shadow. Again, Scott Williams, I love the shadow work here on the image. It looks like it's glowing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just looks super good. Tevia says, Jim Lee on Batman's personally for me. Yeah, if you had him on Batman, be permanent. Yeah, but here's the problem. The minute Jim Lee became the co-publisher or publisher and chief creative officer, he cannot do like that because he has like a lot of other stuff he's dealing with. So,
all right, I have a question for you, Jared.
Yeah,
if we're entering the fantasy realm here, if you could have Jim Lee work on any comic title,
Superman,
DC
Wonder Woman,
besides that, DC or Marvel,
Wonder Woman.
Besides that,
Superman.
Besides that,
Green Lantern.
I would love for Jim Lee to do a Batman Beyond book.
Okay, that's actually really good. Besides that.
Oh, that is fair play. Jim Lee could do I would like to see Jim Lee do Daredevil.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We will see Jim Lee draw Dark Claw because the omnibus for the Amalgam universe that I picked up is the Jim Lee cover.
Also, imagine Jim Lee doing a run on Witchblade.
Okay, he would draw Sarah really good. Jim Lee on Teen Titans and Spider-Man. Oh, those are good ones. I could definitely see that working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's Wonder Woman. So then you get to... I'm going to the actual part where they fight.
Oh, imagine Jim Lee doing a Green Arrow run.
Oh, that would be actually really good. So here's so Wonder Woman walks in, she fights Superman. And what I like about this, there's this cool scene where like she draws blood on his face. He flicks the blood at her at such a velocity that it cracks her sword.
Also, we have a Brit chat.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So what's up, Britt? And I will drop you in here.
He's back.
Jim Lee drew that? I gotta look that up. Kingdom Come Special Jim Lee.
I mean, whenever they want to do something important, they always try out Jim Lee, have him do a cover too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Britt, send me the image of that. Is that a thing?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I figured he would have done something with Kingdom Come because of how important the story is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so pretty dope stuff. And The thing about Jim Lee, what I think he does well, and one of the reasons why I like, by the way, here's one of the good things that came from Tom King's Wonder Woman is that one of the covers that they did is legit completing the Jim Lee like set for because he had a Superman set, a Wonder Woman set, and a Batman cover. So it's this with Diana, and then here's the Trinity one. Hang on, I gotta scroll up. If this thing will let me, right there.
So good. So good.
Yes, exactly. I don't think there's any like book that I think Jim Lee has drawn poorly.
Yeah, the man does not have a bad book in his body.
So real quick, I got one more thing to show off that's drawn by Jim Lee.
Okay.
The hashtag Full Circle T-shirt. That is what he did. Oh, I said hypothetically. Oh, okay. So she means him drawing Superman and Wonder Woman's kid in Kingdom Come. Yes. Yes, I would love that. Just have Jim Lee draw Superman and Wonder Woman doing anything. I will be happy. Just keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah, and then Jared gets all giddy and PM's like, dude, I got something really important. And then the next under two capes you reveal Jim Lee's doing a cover for Pantheon.
If only, bro, that would be freaking amazing. Because if I could afford it, I would be commissioning that mañana. That would be interesting. I could go, hey, if you get us to like $3 million, we can get a stretch goal with a Jim Lee variant cover.
Oh, imagine you actually have conversations with Jim Lee where it's like he agrees to it. So it's like the fact that he agreed to do a cover is just a victory in of itself.
And watch Jim Lee's like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't expect it to happen. Then I'm like calling up, hey Jim, we got the money.
All right, well, I guess I'll honor my word. Just let you know you'll get my best work.
Yep, there you go. That's a bucket list item for. And now, Nick, of your projects, which one do you think Jim Lee would work best at?
Oh gosh, I'd probably say Screecher. It's got that Batman energy to it, and I think Jim Lee would do a great job with Screecher.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, so there are 3 more covers that I want us to highlight because they are very, very important right now. Jim Lee did variant covers for the Absolute Universe.
Of course he did.
There you go. Look at that. And I have all 3 of these, obviously, because it's Jim Lee is my impulsive buy artist. Anything he draws, I will buy.
Wonder Woman out there giving Cloud Strife a run for its money.
Yeah, and her sword can get larger or smaller depending on the threat. And there's Batman with his bat axe. Pissing Nick off. Is it how when Jim Lee draws jacked Batman, he looks a little more normal than like Nick Dragotta?
Imagine if Rob Liefeld had tried to draw.
Oh God, there'd be pouches everywhere. It wouldn't be an axe; it would be a pouch.
It would be the Captain America photo all over again.
Yeah, he would be known as Bat Kangaroo.
Oh God.
Oh. Also, if Rob Liefeld drew these, you wouldn't see any feet. I had to. I love that scene in Deadpool 2 when Domino was explaining how her powers work, and then Deadpool goes, "That sounds like something a hack comic book artist would come up with who can't draw feet." Yeah, luck powers. That's not a power. But,
love how they, speaking of, I like how in 3 they had Rob's just feet.
Yeah, exactly. That when I saw that movie, that's the first thing I noticed.
It's not like that shot was in like every freaking trailer.
Yeah, exactly. So ultimately, I would say, in terms of how I would rate Jim Lee's quality as an artist, I would give him a solid 9.5 out of 10. There are some parts where I feel like There's sometimes where I feel like maybe it's not his best work, but then again, because of everything he's juggling, that's understandable. So that's why I give it a
10 out of 10 for
9.5.
me.
Oh, 10 out of 10? Ah, screw it. I'll give him a 10 out of 10. Because anything he draws looks badass. Literally nothing this man has drawn, I have looked at it and said, oh, that sucks. Nothing.
Here's the reason why I'm giving him 10 out of 10. And I don't give 10s very often.
No.
I'm sorry. Jim Lee's bad days, to quote you, are still better than like 90% of all other comic books ever.
Yeah, and his bad days are like, this is not bad art at all. So I'm like, oh, okay. This is what you consider bad?
It's still leagues better than like virtually every other comic book artist ever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of the, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll give him a 10 out of 10. And I would have to say, yeah, he is definitely my number one favorite comic book artist, followed closely by Alex Ross. It's always been Jim Lee, Alex Ross to me.
So you give Jim Lee 10 Superman and Wonder Woman kissings out of 10?
Well, the fact that he did draw it
multiple times in multiple years.
That was like his image of them kissing was like plastered everywhere when they were announcing it. It's not like that was the first image of Superman and Wonder Woman I ever saw.
And just wait till you meet Jim Lee, and he says, "Personally, yes, I am Super Wonder," and you know he says that to you kind of in confidence, but I'm sure that'd be like, "I loved you before, now it's even more so."
And then you would get a 20 out of 10.
Yeah, that would be
that would definitely get the Super Wonder boost is a 20 out of 10. And yeah, and you know what? I promised Britt I'd do this. If I ever do meet Jim Lee, I'll lean in and say, hey, you know, if you brought back Super Wonder in some capacity, I think the fans would really appreciate it. I'm just saying, bro. So
and then he says, well, you might want to attend the DC panel later today.
No, I'll be there with my phone, videotaping the Clovis fans having a meltdown. It'll be like, you know that one meme after the 2016 election of that one girl going, no! That's what's going to be like.
Oh, and it'll be like, you'd be like, yes!
I'd be like, yes! Britt and I would be like jumping up and down the chair. But you know, I think that's a good place to leave it. Actually, you know what? No, actually, you know what? I want to do a Q&A. So I like to have these go for like 45 minutes max. So let's do this. Q&A. Ask us any Jim Lee related questions that you guys would like about his career, about the books he's drawn. Oh, he also did all the design work for DC Universe Online.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't mention that. Holy crap.
All of the loading screens that pop up, well, most of them are Jim Lee art.
Character designs, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up some Jim Lee stuff and we'll check that out. It's a good thing I didn't end because that's something I really can't forget.
And apparently he's actually a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah, he definitely is. I almost met him, but it turns out he got COVID at the time. He's fine, obviously. So I was like, okay. I still got a signed poster. Your guys' favorite Jim Lee cover. I think it's pretty obvious what my favorite Jim Lee cover is.
Mine is probably the one where he did Batman during Hush. I can't remember. It's the one on the rooftop.
Okay. I'm trying to find a good, like, well, first off, here's some of the design work he did, particularly about our favorite Amazonian princess right here. Hang on, it's loading. Yeah, right there. So he did all that. Well, here's Jim Lee's penciled of the new 52 Wonder Woman. Here's the amalgam cover I picked up. And then he also did here's the funny part. I love this image because this was supposed to be what the DC universe is going to look like with Sasha Calle Supergirl, the two Flashes, John Kent, the not Kate Kane Batwoman. None of this came true. That's the sad part.
Hey, Jared, check Messenger.
Okay, that cover. Yeah. I'll share it. So, this is, when you think of Hush, this is the cover that you think of right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, he's got more cape than Spawn does.
Which I will say I probably will do a tribute to the cover for Screecher.
Oh, you need to. Tevia says any indie comic book characters you're like, well, as we discussed earlier, Witchblade. How about Jim Lee drawing Spawn?
That would be interesting.
That would be actually really dope. And I would say, maybe...
oh god, Jim Lee would do an amazing Hellboy.
Oh yes, absolutely, that would be great.
Because the thing about Jim Lee's art, you gotta realize is his art is very colorful and it's got a bit of a cartoony edge to it, but like serious cartoony. If you think about it. Like, I don't know if I'm describing it that well. It does, but it is very colorful. That's the thing about Jim Lee's art.
Oh, Nick, I got a terrific Jim Lee cover for you. Granted, this was from Tom King's Batman, but you know what? Credit where credit is due. I'm sorry. This is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's poster worthy right there.
With the rain coming down and them holding each other. Yeah, I'm sorry. I cannot in any way hold it against them that was a Tom King thing.
Imagine being like the editor for that book and that cover comes across your desk and you're seeing it for the first time. Oh my god. That's
got to be like one of those occasions where like whenever you see you have an email from Jim Lee that says art coming in, you must be like, okay, I need to sit down before I see this because I'm about to collapse. Oh, here's one of him drawing Rogue. Get a load out of this one.
Woohoo, baby.
Yep, Savage Land Rogue, baby. You gotta love me some Savage Land Rogue.
Oh, there's probably a lot of really good X-Men art for Jim Lee.
Here we go. Let's do this. Jim Lee's X-Men. So we've got that one. Variant.
Oh, he did look up the beach X-Men pool art.
Oh, okay. I you want to see that for research purposes.
Like, that is a pretty famous piece of Jim Lee art right there.
All right, here we go. Hang on, it's coming up. Right there.
Look at that.
Again, the dude knows anatomy really well. Oh, Tevia says Jim Lee on Invincible.
That would be cool.
That would... Because here's the good part about Invincible and Jim Lee on it. It's enough like DC that he can take a lot of his artistic tropes and apply that to Invincible.
No, imagine he does like a cover where it's Omni-Man and his wife and they're kissing like Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but Omni-Man is not married to a super person.
Honey, where is my super suit?
Imagine if he does the poster for the next Incredibles movie.
Oh god, that would be cool.
I'm just saying. How about Jim Lee doing anything Star Wars?
I could see that.
I could definitely see that. Now, let's see. I could also see, besides X-Men, I could see Jim Lee doing a good Fantastic Four. Because he has done that.
Moon Knight.
So here's an interesting piece of history for Jim Lee that I forgot to mention. So during his time at Image, Marvel came begging to the Image guys to come back and draw for an event called Heroes Reborn. This is where you get the infamous Liefeld Captain America. So Jim Lee did some stuff for...
Didn't he do Iron Man?
I think he did Iron Man as well, but he did Fantastic Four, which is very nice.
So he did do Fantastic Four.
He did that. That's why I brought it up. I was trying to tee that up.
Okay.
Trying to find a good image. Yeah, I have this exact issue right here, and there's him, Thor, Namor being his regular D-bag self. Again, throw him in a wood chipper feet first.
Oh, look at the image right above it with all of them.
Here?
No, the cover you showed the image right above them with like that one, yeah. I like that.
There you go. That again, that's poster worthy, baby. That is definitely poster worthy.
But didn't he do Iron Man, I think? during this era?
Yeah, let me see. Iron Man. I thought he did. I know he drew Iron Man at some point. Yeah, so there's that. I'm trying to see.
I may be mistaken.
He probably drew it in like. Well, here we go. It was for a variant cover by Image, and he probably drew it in an issue of Fantastic Four at some point, but for some reason it's not coming up. Yeah, there's the Captain America right there. There you go. There he is. That barrel-chested badass. Ah, jeez.
Which, all jokes aside, it's not that bad.
It's been memed to hell, but yeah, it's not that bad at all. And wasn't it like unused art too, but for some reason people keep bringing it up?
I mean, it looks pretty finished to me.
No, I think he completed it and they didn't use it or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. But so in terms of like that, so what other real quick, one more question and then we'll wrap this up because I got to get prepped for the members only stream at 8. Actually at 9.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching the Game Awards and all the cringe that comes from it.
Yeah.
I got nothing else better to do, so I was like, why not?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
So, let's see here. Okay, this is a general question. We've asked this a couple times. If you could have anyone work on Athena, alive or dead, money no object, who would it be?
George Perez.
Yeah.
Purely because of the fact that my thing is like inspired by Wonder Woman. It would be cool to at least have him do a variant cover. If not, since price is not a factor, the interior art.
Oh yeah.
How about you?
I like George Perez would be high on my list just because Teen Titans is so important to me. Like I would have paid the money to have George Perez do a cover for Screecher. Oh God! The good thing is, at some point I probably will have a Scott McDaniel cover for Screecher, and you know how much that'll mean to me.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, but probably John Romita, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I think John Romita was the Jim Lee of his day.
I would say so, in that he was like one of the guys that was like drawing everything. Tevia says, question, if Jim Lee was allowed to draw anything and not be in charge of DC Comics, would you want him to do? Well, yeah, ongoing series. I would have him just stay at DC because his look has been quintessential to the way DC looks. A lot of in other words, his art has like predicated a lot of how DC has looked since Hush.
Jared, there's a joke here that we're missing out on. So Jim Lee gets hired by Marvel. Like, hey, Jim Lee, welcome back to Marvel. We got this perfect book for you. It is perfect for you. We're going to have you do Squadron Supreme. Can you imagine just like looking at like you're having
written by Jeff Johns? They can even have him say, what I would do, I would totally screw with DC. Like, if I were writing that, I would legit have 52 new Squadron members join so they could be called the New 52.
Come on, Jared. Like, I'm surprised like you didn't make that joke.
And then, obviously, Hyperion and Power Princess would be recreating that the Justice League 12 cover. I think she even has a lasso. I honestly think Jim Lee's art could have actually made New Warriors tolerable.
No, and you know what they're going to call the run? Absolution. Absolute. It's Absolute Squadron Supreme.
That's good. That's good. So I think that's a good place to leave it. So, Nick, where can we find you and what have you got coming out on your channel?
All right, so tomorrow on the Friday Night Frenzy, we are talking about Christmas memories. Probably chatting about the cringe of the Game Awards. That'll be pretty funny. And then Saturday, it'll be my birthday. So in Breath of the Wild, we'll be getting the materials to make a cake. Hopefully we do the cooking by the book. And on Jared's channel, we'll be doing Sky High for movie night.
Yes, and Britt and I are going to be discussing, not only that, but Britt and I are going to be discussing Scott Summers and Emma Frost as a couple compared to Superman and Wonder Woman and why they work and why Marvel has to take the stick out of their asses. And next week, since you guys really have been responding to my How I Would Write Blank Character series, I'm going to be doing How I Would Write Batman. Watch out, Bat Family. You're getting whittled down. And yep. So, okay. Stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs with General. Oh, but in about 2 hours, so about 9 p.m., I'll be going live with the Comics League members to hang out and just chat and go over comics and stuff. I heard that McFarlane figures using AI. I don't
for
know
what
any truth to
AI.
that. Yeah,
what AI for what? That's what. Yeah,
yeah. For what? So anyway, so stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Again, this could not be any more relevant as it is today. Zois and Max the Bat for life. See you later. Bye bye.